Everyone has a story. Stories have power. They help us understand each other. Maryann, great to see you.
Great to see you too.
Let's go chat. This is Jessop's Journal. Maryann, it's time to sign into Jessop's Journal. Hi, I'm Doug Jessop. Welcome to this episode of Jessop's Journal. With me today, Mary Ann Jensen. Now, Mary Ann, number one, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
I have known you for a while.
Yes.
Okay. Full disclosure, I've kind of been mentoring you since you were about right here. Tell people why and how we met.
When I was 2 years old, I watched Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs for the first time. And that's when I saw Sam Sparks. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to be like her.
Okay, everybody, you are not going to believe this one, but we are about to be in the epicenter of a perfect food storm.
That's when my love of meteorology came into play. And then my grandma saw the commercial to become a Xlear Pinpoint Weather Kid. So she told us, and then my parents and I made a video.
In St. George, it's always sunny.
Send it into ABC4, and then on my last day of preschool, when I was 5 years old, I came here to ABC4, and that's when I met you. And then I did the weather on live TV with Jim Kosek.
I did not realize it was your last day of preschool.
Yes.
Oh my heck. Okay, yeah, because that was a promotional fun thing that I came up with a long time ago. You did a stellar job, by the way.
Thank you.
You were one of my first weather kids.
Yes.
And so the people that don't understand, since you can explain it to them, remember I told you that being on the weather is kind of like being in a video game. And that there was the green screen and everything.
Yes.
Okay. So if I were to stand in front of the weather screen right now, what would I look like?
You'd only have arms, a head, and legs because your jacket would blend in.
Yes, it would disappear. So what was the thing that you remember the most about being on as the weather kid the first time?
There were so many things I remember. I definitely remember being on the green screen, like being in front of the green screen, and like I had to look into like this screen where I could see what was behind me, and then I had to use my finger to like try and find it, and I think that was the hardest part.
It's 82 degrees.
In Salt Lake City. Now, what about the rest of the state? You pick one out, and I'll tell you how to say the name of the town.
In Cedar City, it's 86.
Nice.
But it was such a neat experience to actually be able to be there, you know, chasing my dreams, and going back and watching it, I'm like, yeah, that is so much fun, and I want to do it again.
Okay, well, we might be able to arrange that. Just saying, yeah. So the other thing is, and I don't know if you remember this, but it's interesting because it's a mirror image. So if you're pointing this way, the camera's actually seeing it this way, and it's just like, ah!
Yes.
So, kind of confusing.
Yes.
But then, because of that movie, the Partly Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs #2 came out.
Oh, that's my favorite.
You remember what you did there?
Yes, I went with Tony Toscano and I did a movie review, and I saw it before it came out for the public. I dressed up as Sam Sparks, and then I came back to the studio and I talked about it, and I remember that I rated it 4 meatballs because I was on ABC4.
There you go. Yes, I do remember that. That was pretty cool. And then I said, you know what the heck, Mary Ann did pretty good. Let's have her be a junior reporter.
Are you so excited to be our junior reporter today?
Yes.
I can't remember. I know one story that we did, but I can't remember all of them. So do you remember some of the junior reporter stuff you did?
When the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus was in town, I went and I interviewed the ringmaster and the guy that works with the circus dogs, and then I think my favorite part was I held this rope and I helped the dogs jump rope at the circus on live TV.
So do you have a dog at your house?
No, we're not pet people.
Oh, well, I still like you. It's okay.
Thank you.
So that was a couple years ago. What have you been doing since?
I have always loved writing, and I've always loved stories. And when I was little, I would draw pictures and then write stories to go along with them, or I'd pick up a picture book and I'd make up stories to go along with it. So I've always really loved stories and writing. But when I was 11 years old in 5th grade, it was almost Christmas time, and I just finished my first draft of The Lost Mermaid. So I said that, you know, this would be a great Christmas present for all my friends. So we sat in front of the printer, my parents and I, for hours and hours and printed out copy after copy. And it was just like this paper copy that we bound with an elastic. So not quite as fancy as this one, but I gave it to all of my friends, and I just loved the joy that came across their faces, and I was like, you know what? I want to do this some more. So I came to my parents with some money that I had saved up, and I said, I want to publish this. I want it to be a real book with a real cover and a spine and a barcode and my face on it, and like I had all these things that I wanted to do, and they're like, okay, let's do it. So we did that, and then we sent it off, and on my 12th birthday, it came, and here we are now.
There you go. Okay, so now I'm looking at the artwork on this.
Yes.
And from what I understand, not only did you write the book, but you did the drawings.
Yes, I also did all of the drawings, both on the cover and on the inside.
Oh, okay.
Which
Now, I'm going to tease you, since you're not a pet person, but just saying, you do have fish,
Yes.
you have turtles, you have crabs. I'm just saying, maybe you need an aquarium.
Yes. Mom, I think we can arrange that.
Okay, so now, this is the Lost Mermaid.
So this is the main character. Her name's Merlia. She
Merlia.
was
Okay.
taken from her family at birth and taken to a research facility. And then on her 12th birthday, she meets some friends who try to break her out.
Okay, so now I'm just going to tease you because, how old are you now?
I'm 13.
Okay, so your dad and I are going to have to, protect your door for 3 more years. Who's this boy?
This is Cooper Kooples. He's my own creation.
Okay, so you did book number 1.
Yes.
And then you decided, what the heck, let's do it again?
Yes. So this is my second book. It's actually the first book in my 7-book series, the
Okay.
Sundance Spring series. This book stars Megan Fisher, who you can see here on the front cover. So she just moved to Sundance Springs, and so she's the new girl, but she gets invited to a sleepover at Christy Pearl, the popular girl's house.
Okay.
And then at the sleepover, they play a game of Would You Rather. And then when they wake up in the morning, their Would You Rathers have come true. So they need to solve puzzles to, try to get out of this crazy spell.
Okay, so what is a game of Would You Rather?
So you pick 2 different things, like,
Okay.
would you rather become a mermaid whenever you touch water, or become a dragon whenever you blow out a candle?
Well, let's see. Okay, since I'm a guy, and I'm not sure I want to become a mermaid, I think I'll do the dragon, okay?
Yes, and so then you just go around and you answer a whole bunch of crazy questions,
Okay.
like this or that.
Okay, so then I'm going to play with you a little bit. So would you rather be on Dancing with the Stars
Ooh,
or Shark Tank?
Dancing with the Stars, definitely.
Okay, just checking. Okay, and who would you be dancing with?
Oh, Cooper Kooples all the way.
Okay, just saying. Okay.
Or Derek Huff.
Oh,
He's pretty good, too.
Okay, well, we might be able to arrange that. I don't know. So, and then you got this 3rd book. Okay.
So this one, MASH, is the 2nd book in my Sundance Spring series. And each of these books is in a different girl's perspective. So this one is starring Victoria. And so they go, again, to another sleepover. You think they would have learned, but what the heck. So they go to a sleepover, and they play a game of MASH.
So tell me what MASH stands for.
MASH stands for Mansion, Apartment, Shack, House. So here inside, I actually have some MASH boards that I filled out for each of my characters.
Okay, is this a real game, or did you just make it up?
No, it's a real game.
Really?
So here on the MASH board, you write MASH, and then you write 3 of your crushes, 3 cars you want, how many kids you want, pets, and jobs.
Okay, so I'm looking at page number 8. Okay, I'm gonna put you on the spot, girl. Okay, crushes. Give me some crushes. Okay, who you have a crush on?
Nick, Jackson, Derek, Aaron, Laszlo.
That's more than 4. Okay, okay. What kind of car?
I'd say a limo.
A
Or
limo.
a Ferrari.
Limo Ferrari. Okay. And then what was the next one? The pet?
Pet. You know what? I'd have to say a cat, although my dad's allergic. The cat comes into play.
Okay. And then the what's the next one?
The job.
Oh, the job. Okay. Yes. Well, I think we already know the answer to this one, but you tell
Author,
me.
meteorologist, something that goes along with ABC4.
Okay. Okay. Well, okay. So I think we can kind of have some fun with that.
Yes.
So now that you've done the authoring thing, and you've done the meteorology thing, and you've done the junior reporter thing, what's next for Maryann?
Well, since this is going to be a 7-book series, my next goal is to finish the 3rd book.
Oh, okay. So have you already kind of got them written in your mind, or are you kind of going away?
So the next book is called Paws, and it stars Nicole Parker. And this book, they don't play a game, they don't have a sleepover, they actually end up watching a movie. One of my favorite movies, besides Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, is High School Musical. And yes, I have visited East High many times.
Okay. Just so people out there know, it was actually recorded here in Utah. So yeah. Okay.
Yes. So this book, it's something very different compared to the other books I've written. Because, I mean, yes, it's a part of the series, but this book, each character has their very own personality. And for Nicole, she struggles with anxiety. And I see that during this pandemic, a lot of people, both adults and kids, have felt this emotion, but it's really not one that people talk about. So I want people to know that you're not alone if you have anxiety, and the only way you can get through it is if you have good friends.
When people read your books, what do you want them to kind of get out of reading this series?
I want them to know that friends are important, and they're there to help you get through whatever you need to get, whatever you're going through, whatever you want to happen. Like, your friends are always going to be there. But I also want everybody that reads my books to know that, you can follow your dreams. It doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are.
Okay. Well, you have been following your dreams for a while, so
Yes.
one of the things that we talked about over your long and illustrious broadcast career here is you did the junior reporting thing, and I did interview a young man by the name of Chase Hansen.
Yes.
Okay. So he's another one of my little junior reporter guys. When I interviewed him, I let him ask me 3 questions. Okay. I'm a little nervous because I'm not quite sure what you've got up your sleeve, but okay. Go ahead, Maryann.
So
You got
first
3
of all,
questions. Okay.
if I had a time machine, I would go back in time right now, and I'd get 12-year-old Doug and his tape recorder.
Oh, okay.
And I'd have him come and sit right here next to me.
Okay.
And at this time, you were just entering the journalism field, So what is one piece of advice that you think that 12-year-old Doug could benefit from, and other young journalists could benefit from, like me?
Well, this kind of comes back to the name of the series, okay, JESSOP'S Journal. The little slogan line is, everyone has a story. Stories have power. They help us understand each other. Sometimes when you look at somebody, you automatically make assumptions based on what they're dressed or what they look like, or all that kind of stuff. And I would say that's a mistake. You need to have a more open mind about people, because you might find out that they're a lot more interesting than you thought they were.
I love that.
Okay. Next question.
Speaking of stories and, memories and things, I know that for me, jelly beans bring back a lot of memories because they come into play in Would You Rather a lot of the book. So whenever I see jelly beans, it's just a rush of memories from writing the book. And I understand you have a hat that has your grandfather's cufflink on it. What memory is associated with that cufflink?
That's Gramps. Gramps was he was a gentle man that was one of the very few positive male role models in my life when I was a kid. And he would come over every Sunday to have dinner. He was a widower, I guess is the correct term. But, you know, and he and I would go around the garden, and he'd show me things, and I'd show him things. And he actually had been a chauffeur in the Depression. And so he was very, very well-dressed, dapper guy. And so, yeah, Gramps.
That's really powerful. I love that. And again, going back to stories, there are so many different genres out there. You know, there's science fiction, fiction, nonfiction. And for me, the books that I'm writing right now are fantasy fiction. But if your entire life was written down and published as a book, what genre would that book be?
Humor.
Humor? I was not expecting that from you.
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Well, actually, because I'm already started writing it. It's called Life is Never Boring.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
And so the idea is that sometimes we need to make sure that we don't take ourselves too seriously, because there was a bit of advice. You're one of the youngest people I've interviewed, okay? Chase technically has got you beat, okay?
Yes.
But the oldest person that I've interviewed was 103 years old. Her name was Romaine Waline Zito, and she gave me 2 bits of advice. Number 1, remember to have fun, okay? And number 2, remember to laugh.
I love those.
And so the idea is that if you remember those fun things, the things that gave you joy, yeah, humor. Because, you know, there's an old axiom is that, I hate to say this, but tragedy multiplied by time equals humor.
Oh,
Something
that's true.
at the time was not very funny at all. It's like, now you can go back. I mean, like, for example, okay, now our photographer over here, Ed, we did a story for Dan and Yogurt. We went down to Millard County, and when I was a kid, when I was your age, I went and I used to help milk cows.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
On my cousin's dairy farm. Well, so there's this milk barn, okay, and the girls, they come in, okay, and Ed really wanted to set up right there. Yeah, he did, and I told him, no, you don't want to set up there. No, I need the shot. You got that, okay. And you know what? The cows kind of did what cows do. And I think that it took him like a week to get the cow poop out of the camera thing. But fortunately, we were all the way in Delta, Utah. Fortunately, the people there had some shirts, okay? It said Moo Crew. So let's just say we had a wardrobe change. Otherwise, it would have been a very uncomfortable and sneaky ride home. See? It wasn't necessarily funny at the time, but now it's hilarious.
That's amazing.
So, okay. Yeah,
Oh my
just saying.
gosh.
Okay, so there's your 3 questions. Now I'm going to end you with one. Okay?
All right, yes.
Rustico's the guys that make my journals. This is my journal, okay? And to me, life comes with scars, and it has marks and all that kind of stuff. You can see this has all these marks, okay? Well, the folks at Rustico made you a journal,
Oh my gosh.
okay? This is
Thank
your
you so
journal. It's
much.
nice and smooth and clean.
That's my name on
Yes,
it.
has your name on
I love this so much.
Isn't that cool?
I love it. Thank you.
Okay. So they have a hashtag that says, leave your mark. So, Mary Ann Jensen, how do you want to leave your mark?
I want everyone who knows me and everyone who meets me to know that you're never too young to follow your dreams. I mean, I would have never imagined that at 5 years old, I'd be able to do the weather on live TV. And now I'm a 13-year-old published author with 3 published books. So don't underestimate yourself, because it doesn't matter your age. You just should follow your dreams, because that's magical.
Very cool. Well, Mary Ann, thank you very much for coming on Jessups Journal.
Thank you
There are
so
a couple
much.
other people we want to thank. Of course, you know, we had the 5 Wise hand sanitizing. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then Xlear makes the nasal spray, but they also make my mouth spray. You do not get these 2 mixed up, just saying.
No.
Okay? Okay. But the other thing that they make, you think about washing your hands, but have you thought about washing your nose?
No.
Xlear nasal spray, good stuff. Taylor Cooperative makes all my clothes. And of course you have JW Custom Hats that makes all my hats. So here's the thing I want people to remember. Everyone has a story. Stories have power. They help us understand each other. With another entry into Jessop's Journal and published author Mary Ann Jensen. I'm Doug Jessop, ABC 4 News.